Hey y'all, here we are inside the one of the little go-kart rooms. They're all twin engines, or four engines in this case, and some old European shifter carts from back in the probably 70s or 80s. Looks like the two shifter carts, European shifter carts, look like zips. I don't know what this other stuff is, but we'll show you. There's some more modern stuff, a couple twin four-strokes and twin tag in the back there on a more modern chassis, which we'll bring around and show you all this stuff. Well, Rotax. Stamped pipes, that's some very old stuff. I'm not even sure that those would have been made here in America. Most of the guys that got a hold of these things in the U.S. Went to town changing them up. It's got a butterfly steering wheel, though, something you probably would never have seen over in England or Europe. Interesting enough. Big radiator, wouldn't have any problem cooling off the old Vortex with that radiator. Big aluminum tank. And the Hartman water bombs.
4 engines.
Left hand.
4 engines.
Got the Hartman.
They spray it.
Brown's had his hands in here. How you doing, Jeff? Hey to my buddy Bob Kurkowski. You're missing it, Bobby. We need to get you up here. I wish I had a bigger house. I had a spare room. I'd bring you up and let you crash out. Culver carburetor. It's got the 360-degree venture with the fuel comes in from all the way around. I had one of these actually on my Ardelt. I had a Mike Culver Ardelt. It was a Virgin. Actually, it had only been run once before I got my hands on it. I got it from Pop Basha, same guy I got my first kart from, the old Hartman copy. It was good and reliable when it was 100 cc's. I let Greg Campbell talk me into pressing a 135 sleeve in it and opening it up, and it made it extremely unreliable. The ring kept falling in and out of the port, and eventually it caused ring breakage and piston failure. Eventually I moved on to a shifter cart and sold that whole package off. But, interesting to see these up close. I've seen them on the internet, but I've never seen them in person. These may or may not even be aftermarket or what we call repops. I'm not sure that that's real Hartman stuff. Well, they have that capability here at this R&M. The floor, by the way, is fantastic. This is faux finish, just fantastic. Much bigger shop than we are used to seeing these parties at. The one guy we bumped into said they'd only been here 6 months. So, yeah, you're all set. Enjoy, folks. But, here's the. These look like BM 130s. That'd be 135 cc's. That's nuts. Look at the little extra juice booster at high velocity. So it throws extra fuel at that thing. That's crazy. What are they getting? That looks like the oxygen bottle. So it's like a boost of oxygen instead of nitrous, right? Ooh, engine clutches. Long set of chains to those front motors. I imagine something like this you'd probably run down a drag strip or something. This isn't, it's got a fire extinguisher on board. This isn't something you'd road race, I wouldn't think. But it would be cool to take to the drag strip, and they let you take a couple runs with it and just promo stuff, showing it off, We got more BM 130s, it looks like. Nice anodizing and stuff. This is an Emic cart or something, I think. Let's see if we can find some ID on it somewhere. Got Horseman axle clutches. So somebody played with this thing sometime in the 80s or 90s. Old school Digitron gauge there. Looks like a red eye gauge, and that's old school as well. This big Enduro tank on here. Enduro side tank. Whatever it takes to get it out there and playing with it, I guess. It's a KH Kathy Hartman pipe. A lot of flex. I'm gonna guess maybe that thing ran around a sprint track. Wouldn't make much sense with that great big fuel tank on there, but Kenny, my brother Kenny, tells me they had this one out not long ago at Newcastle and ran it around at the vintage events that Jeff Brown actually coordinates and organizes. Kenny said the thing's pretty fast, and I imagine it would be. Hi, how are you? This looks like an old IKS, I think, chassis. The only way I can determine that is by these spindles. The IKS had that square tubing type spindle. Frank Dolly had a IKS type cart, I guess. So that'd be the only way for me to identify it. But it's obviously a twin. It's got two sets of brakes on the back. Maybe a water cooler too. What is that? It looks like, is that a water pump pulley there? Don't know. Here's your, it's like 70s or 80s zip cart, Martin Hines true zip cart. Fiberglass tank, or composite tank. I've worked on a couple of these, made bodies, not this type of body work, but put on aftermarket noses, Anderson nose, even a Swift nose, made my own Enduro, took my Enduro nose cone, cut it in half, and used it as side pods and made my own wing assembly for Brad Hunt. Wasn't a 2-cylinder, it was a 125, but it did have the fiberglass tank. Look at it, it's got the big lifted floor tray, the aerodynamic tunnel in it there. Pretty cool stuff. We run into the more modern stuff. It looks like a Rotax Tag Twins. Don't know, can't imagine how this would run on a sprint track. I can't imagine it would be as fast as these older karts, as big and bulky and heavy as they are. But who knows? I don't know. I guess we'd have to ask somebody who's seen it run. Pretty cool. And here's another one. We got these 4-stroke. What is it? Swiss Auto 250. I don't even know what the heck that is. It's a 4-stroker, obviously. I know I've looked into that Araxo engine myself to put it on a laydown kart and race at Daytona. And that's a pretty powerful little engine, 50 horsepower out of that little Wankel type rotary motor. I can imagine 2 of those would be a barrel of fun.